WCIA 3 News.
I think a lot of schools are going to get shut down in between the COVID and the flu.
We're well into the school year, and some schools are closing down entirely, sending students back home for remote learning only. What parents in Danville need to know tonight.
He was one of Illinois' most prominent, powerful politicians of all time. Historians say he owned slaves. Why the statue of Abraham Lincoln's former rival came down.
Just get it done.
Time is running out to fill out your census form, where you can go to get it done.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing increases in Vermilion County.
That's where public health officials warn cases of COVID-19 are on the rise. But it's also who is getting sick that's forcing families to make some big changes. Good evening. I'm Mark Maxwell.
And I'm Jen Lask. As cases rise, another school switches to virtual learning. Danville schools have decided to close Southwest Elementary after a staff member tested positive. WCIA 3's Gabrielle Cook is live in the newsroom. Gabrielle, tell us what details you've learned.
A staff member did test positive. There were also students and staff who came in close contact with that staff member, and due to the number of exposures, the school will be moving to virtual learning. Southwest Elementary is switching to virtual learning after a staff member tested positive for COVID-19. The school originally gave parents the choice between learning remotely or in person, but now everyone will take classes online until at least October 5th. Parent Kathy Moore says she understands safety comes first, but says things can get tough at home.
I try to help as much as I can, but unfortunately, not being a teacher, sometimes some of the stuff that I know how to do is not how they do it anymore.
The school will undergo a deep cleaning while the building is closed, but Vermilion County Public Health says they're also seeing a recent rise in COVID cases. And with the flu season already here, they're seeing more people get their shots.
We had a handful of drive-through flu clinics here at the health department. They've been attended very well. We're seeing bigger numbers at the beginning than we're used to seeing.
But the fear of a flu outbreak during COVID-19 only adds one more challenge for administrators to handle before bringing students back in the classroom.
Virtual, I think I'm leaning more towards that's the way maybe it should be through the flu and the winter months. And then maybe in person, because I think a lot of schools are going to get shut down in between the COVID and the flu.
To the rising COVID cases in Vermilion County, the district is urging parents to monitor their children for COVID-19 symptoms. And for any parents with questions, we have more information on our website, WCIA.com. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Gabrielle. The University of Illinois launched a new program enlisting students to promote campus safety in the coronavirus era. The Illinois Wellness Ambassadors program is rewarding students who follow CDC guidelines. Their goal is to help campus return to normal as quickly as possible.
So I think one phrase that we use a lot is that we all want to be here. And we've kind of been pushing the message that it's like, hey, if we keep, testing and quarantine when we need to and trying to not come in contact with like a lot of people if you're not wearing a mask, then we could stay on campus and we could at least have some social gatherings that are small with masks, of course.
Ambassadors can be seen around all major campus sites. They'll be passing out hand sanitizer, masks, and free t-shirts to reward students who are social distancing. Any student interested in becoming an ambassador can find the link on our website, WCIA.com. State public health officials announced 14 more deaths and more than 1,600 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. That brings the state's total to nearly 288,000 positive cases and more than 8,600 deaths. Over the last 7 days, 3.7% of people who took a test tested positive.
Springfield police are investigating a shooting outside a convenience store. It happened early this morning outside the Fresh Express near 16th and Cook Streets. Police say someone there outside the store started firing a gun as a car drove by. One of those bullets flew into a house just across the intersection. It struck a mattress inside while a woman was lying on top of it. She was not hurt. Police say the suspect ran away. They still don't have a description yet. Illinois State Police say a woman died after her car skidded off the road and flipped last night. It happened in rural Clark County, just outside Westfield. That's near East Clarksville Road and North 420th Street. The 30-year-old driver was thrown from her pickup truck. After it went into a ditch and flipped, she was pronounced dead on the scene. Police have not yet released her name. Still no word yet on what caused that crash. The New York Times reports President Trump paid only $750 in federal income taxes the year he became president, and another $750 in income taxes the first year in office. The president denies that report that showed, quote, chronic losses and years of tax avoidance. He dismissed the reporting as fake news.
And the report comes just 2 days before the first presidential debate, and as his battle to seat a new Supreme Court justice is getting underway. Nicole Killian reports from the White House.
No confirmation before inauguration.
Outside the U.S. Supreme Court Sunday, a rally opposing the confirmation of federal appeals court judge Amy Coney Barrett.
This whole process is a contemptible sham, and any Republican who goes along with it needs to fear for their jobs.
Late Saturday, President Trump nominated Barrett to fill the vacancy left by the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Barrett's anti-abortion views have energized conservatives, and President Trump has indicated she may be needed to help decide a disputed election.
Well, we've got states that actually are doing things that you would qualify as a scam when you start to look at allowing mail-in ballots to come in 7-9 days after November 3rd.
Congressional Democrats say Judge Barrett should recuse herself from any election contest involving the president.
I certainly wish she would. It would really help Mathers, and it would evidence the fact that she wants to be fair in addressing this.
Judge Barrett is expected to start meeting with senators on Capitol Hill as early as Tuesday. That night, President Trump and Joe Biden will meet in Cleveland, Ohio for their first debate.
The president has reportedly decided to skip any formal debate preparation, while Biden has been holding mock debate sessions. Sunday, the former vice president warned Americans Barrett would likely vote to dismantle the Affordable Care Act in the middle of a pandemic.
The judge has a written track record of disagreeing adamantly with the Supreme Court's decisions on 2 occasions upholding the ACA.
In a new CBS Battleground Tracker poll, the former vice president is up 2 points in North Carolina, while President Trump is up 1 point in Georgia. And in both states, more than half of respondents say the Supreme Court vacancy makes this election even more important. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
The front entrance to the Illinois State House looks different tonight. The statue of Abraham Lincoln's rival, U.S. Senator Stephen Douglas, has been taken down. House Speaker Michael Madigan called on the Office of the Architect to review the history of Douglas and of former Lieutenant Governor Pierre Menard more than 2 months ago, citing Douglas's disturbing past as a Mississippi slave owner. Menard also owned slaves. Both statues had been on the State House grounds for more than a century. A statue of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. may soon take its place.
You may have seen a pack of dozens riding through Urbana this morning. Their goal was to promote filling out the census and making sure you're registered to vote. WCIA 3's Andy Olson has more.
Carol Ammons would describe her family as a biking family. When she saw one of her colleagues in the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus raising awareness for the importance of the census and voting with biking, they decided to ride as well.
They have one going on right now in Chicago, and I said, hey, we should do the same thing. And so we picked it up, and that's why we're here this morning.
With only days left to fill out the census and register to vote, they hope that the ride can also be a good last reminder for people who still need to do both.
Making sure we see the value of the census, understanding what that means, and also the power of the vote. So it's very important that we combine those things, and I'm honored to be able to be a part of it. And then I like riding my bike. I like getting a little exercise, so we're going to have a good time.
The ride started in Douglas Park, which Champaign County Clerk Aaron Ammons says was especially important to make sure the African-American community there gets represented. The group rode all the way to the Brookings Administrative Center, where people were able to complete their census and change their voter registration info if they needed. For people who didn't make it Sunday, they still want to make it known there's time to get it done.
They can still fill out their census all the way to September 30th. If there's an extension by the federal ruling on this, there will be census workers still working on the federal side to go door to door to make sure people can complete their census.
In Urbana, Andy Olson, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Earlier this week, a federal judge ordered the census be extended until October 31st. The Justice Department is expected to appeal that decision.
Some people in Rantoul had a rather productive Sunday, knocking out not just the census, but 3 chores, all at one place. Concerned Citizens and Rantoul Reformed hosted those events. Healthy Votes Count at the youth center there. Residents could go there and get a COVID test. They could register to vote and fill out the census form. The U of I helped to make those tests available for free, and results would come back after just 24 hours.
Get out, make sure you're registered, make sure that you've done your census, and make sure that you go to other sites where you can get. There will be more U of I partnering. They're going to be out here doing more COVID testing, so look for those. And just try to make sure you do the voter and the census wherever. Just get it done. Get it done.
People in Rantoul will still be able to get more COVID-19 testing soon. Those census forms were originally due this Wednesday. A federal judge has extended that to the end of October.
A cafe at the University of Illinois is helping students and staff afford a meal if they don't have the money to pay for it. WCIA 3's Jamie Mays has more.
Bevier Cafe launched a pay what you can model. Staff say they hope this will help with food insecurity on campus. Customers are given a suggested price for their meal. They can pay that amount or pay more or less than the suggested price. People can also pay it forward. That will help someone else in the future. Bevier Cafe normally serves anywhere from 100 to 150 people per day. They saw those numbers drop to 10 to 15 people. Once staff found out some students on campus may be struggling financially to pay for food, they decided to help.
Being a college student's hard. Being a college student and hungry is next to impossible. So it seemed like a really good opportunity for us to step in and help.
They say the response has been overwhelmingly positive. They hope to continue this model through the end of the semester, but there's a possibility it could last for longer. In Urbana, Jamie Mays, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
More people are coming to the cafe now. The day it launched last week, around 45 customers came in to eat.
Heads up for Springfield drivers. The 6th Street frontage road that connects Octavius Via north of Lincolnshire Boulevard is closing permanently tomorrow. The closure will help to pave the way for construction of a new business along that road there. The city temporarily took over this section of the road while an extension on 11th Street was under construction. The right-of-way has been given back to the developer. And we turn now to Amelia Henderson with a look ahead at our weather. Amelia, how's it looking outside?
Well, it's not the greatest, Mark. It was a beautiful day overall, but a cold front is moving into the area, bringing us some much-needed precipitation, followed by a little bit of a drop in these temperatures. I will have all the details right after this.